Nominated for Best Community College Radio Station 2014 by the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System.
Everything you want to hear from the voice of Cerritos College. WPMD on the net, where people make a difference.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Falcon Spotlight. I'm your host, Rob JF, and today is a beginning of campaign time for various different candidates running for student trustee and running for student government president. Today, I have some very special guests, and at this time, I would like my guests to please introduce themselves.
Good morning, Cerritos. Hope everybody had a great and safe spring break. My name is Jimenez, and I'm here to represent Hector and to let everyone know that I have full confidence in this man to be your ASCC president. He has a strong background by being involved in the Associated Student Body in Bellflower High School and participating in a big event to raise money for the students. He is well known to be very kind to those surrounding him. He has been through many tough situations because of his muscular dystrophy, which has made him the very strong person that he is today. There's nothing stopping him from reaching his goals. He represents fairness and justice for all those around him, speaks his mind whenever he thinks someone is being treated unequally or being discriminated against. First, we were high and by friends. Then we became the "How are you doing?" texting in a while type of friends. Now I have to see him almost every week. I just have to. Once I got to know him, his wisdom and love for life became very inspiring. He pushes me to dream big and reach my goals. And now I'm working on being a pilot and leaving to the Air Force. Something I only thought about but never put my foot forward until he encouraged me. Being president will give him the opportunity to do the same for others. He is up before the sun comes up, prioritizes his day, goes to school, goes to meetings, attends many events, makes time to study, and is working hard to transfer to UCLA. And is there for anybody who needs him. What else does anybody need from a president? So when the time comes on April 16th and 17th, make sure you vote for Hector and Charlie for student success and a safer campus.
Okay, and that was an introduction for Hector. Hector, at this time, would you like to, we have another guest as well. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning, Robert, and it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Bob Arthur. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees at Cerritos Community College. I've had the pleasure of serving on the board now for approximately 20 years. I was first elected in 1995, and it's a real honor and a pleasure to be here today with you and Hector to ask some questions of the candidates of running for student body president. And I might want to just, before we begin, to point out to all of our political science professors and political science majors, the students, that in order to hear this program, you're going to have to turn to 1700 on your dial. That's to the far right as possible. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay. Now, Hector, you're in for a treat because I asked our trustee to be here and he was able to put this in his schedule. So at this time, I'd like our trustee to begin questioning you.
Okay.
Sure. Hector, welcome. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I congratulate you and thank you for your interest in serving on the student council and government here at Cerritos College. Would you please tell us about yourself and why you're running for student body president and what you feel your qualifications for office are?
Okay, I feel that I'm qualified to be student president because I have been involved in the student government. I was part of a hiring committee that hired a financial aid assistant director, so I understand how the dynamic works with the administration in the college. And I feel that I have good communication skills because if we think about it, the administrators need us, the students, and we need them as administrators. So if there's a good communication with the administrators, then we can get things done for the better of the students. And also because right now I'm currently the commissioner of student financial aid, and I have an open connection with the financial aid department. And I also understand how how diverse this college is, and because it's a very diverse college, there should be more emphasis on diversity, and there already is. And I have a good understanding of that because of my disability, because I am part of a diverse group. And also I feel that I would like to be ASCC president because I want to help make this campus safer, and I also want to help publicize more the services that the campus has for the students, so that the students can be more successful and reach their goals in the future.
Understood. Tell us what you think your first 30 days in office might be. After the first 30 days, what do you think those first 30 days might be like?
The first 30 days I will brainstorm. I will try to get a task force for security task force for the campus and try to assemble my cabinet and try to get the group together and try to get the task force, try to get the cabinet, and brainstorm on the ideas that I will change. Then after the 30 days, I will start working on those goals, and I will start implementing those things that I have, the goals that I have, which are doing the task force and helping the college.
That's a good segue into the next question. What do you think your three most important items are facing the ASCC this next year, and how do you plan to address those items?
The first one, as I just said, is safety, because I have heard that apparently the college, the campus police, I don't blame it on the administrators, but the campus police doesn't have a report yet for the previous year of how many crimes have happened on campus. And I want to have an open channel of communication with campus police so that I can help them have ideas of how to deter crime on campus. The second thing is that publicity of services. I have heard throughout the years that I've been here at Cerritos College, because I started in 2007, I have heard a lot of students complaining about services that they don't have, but in reality they do have them, but the students are not aware of the services that exist. So I want to help do that and help allow the students to understand what they have at their disposal so they can be successful. And the third thing is to try to balance out the ACC budget to make sure that the academic clubs get their money that they need, and also make sure that it's balanced, where we're not spending too much or we're balancing it out, so we can have enough saved and enough spending for the students to use for the clubs and the organizations.
Understood. Could you give us some examples on those first two bullets? You mentioned safety and communications as the first two items.
Okay, safety.
But you said you didn't have a report for alleged crimes on campus.
Yeah, according to the last meeting I had, actually one of the WPMD members was saying at our cabinet meeting that there was not a report of the previous year, the 2013 year, of the crimes that happened on campus.
Like what?
And just a few months ago, there was a sexual assault on the LRC, over by the east entrance of the LRC, the Library Resource Center, and that was one of them. And then there was also another one happened last semester in one of the bathrooms in the social science building on the west side of the social science building. And there hasn't been like a report about it has been reported, but there's no statistics as in how many crimes have been happening throughout the year.
So you just want to see the statistics of crimes?
Yeah, and that too. But I also want to help work with the campus police to fund to put more video surveillance cameras throughout the campus, because one of the things they're trying to put right now is in the student center. And the last cabinet meeting we discussed this, they're trying to put a camera, but the money has to come out of the ACC. So I also want to help get that money moving so that they can get the video cameras, because that can deter crime. And also try to investigate and present the administrators the idea of putting they're called I don't know what they're called, but it's like a panic station where they have them outside in the parking lot, so when people can go up to it and press a button and it connects them directly to campus police, because those currently exist inside the buildings, but they're not outside in the parking lots or outside throughout the campus. Okay. And I feel that it's a waste of time for the student that is in danger to run to a building when they're in imminent danger outside or outside in the parking lot. So if anything happens, not just that they're being assaulted, but also a medical emergency or anything like that, it's easier to go to the button and press it and get the campus ways to get there because they already know where they're located on campus.
Great ideas. And the second bullet point you mentioned about communications on campus, that there were programs on campus that students weren't aware of.
Okay, one example that I have is I remember a couple of meetings ago, because I used to be in the Senate too, and it was one of the Senate meetings. One of the administrators at the Student Health Center, she was already leaving because she was retiring. She was moving to a different college, and she just came to the Senate meeting to thank the senators and everybody for all the canned food that we had collected in the holiday season before we went on winter break. And she had said about there's a food bank on school, and I've been a student for so long, and I never knew that there was a food bank at the Student Health Center. So what I think that would be good is setting up like a bulletin board in the buildings. I know they already are there, but they publicize the dean's list and the president's list, and then there's non-academic boards that publicize books that are on sale or things that students want other students to know. But I was thinking setting up like a directory in every building, like a bulletin board where it just says services directory, and it has all the phone numbers to the departments and then the extension so they can get the information. And also focus more on Operation Outreach to make sure that Operation Outreach does more. Operation Outreach is a ASCC organization. It's part of the student government, and they set up booths outside on Falcon Square every I don't know which days they are, but I hardly see them because they're early in the morning. But I would feel that it would be necessary to have more booths outside so the students can know more services, and just try to put the services that exist more on the marquee that we have outside on the boulevard, and then just try to outreach more to the students in order so they can know what services they have at their disposal to be successful.
Congratulations, they're commendable ideas. Tell us how you, as the president of the ASCC, will work with the student trustee, and how would the roles of those two offices differ?
Okay, the student trustee would differ because the student trustee goes to the trustee meetings and she's part of the trustee board. So what my role would be just the student government, and I would be in charge of the organizations and the implementation of clubs and the rules and the budget and the money and those things. But they are both kind of alike because they're both big positions. And if the trustee and I, as president, would have good communication, we can convey the ideas that we have to the board and have an open channel of communication so that they can present to the board all the new proposals that we have, and that we advocate for them along with the student president, because I will also try to attend the most board meetings that I can to be there and show the support for the students. But I think that it's very good that the trustee and the president have a good communication between each other, so that way they can help advocate for the students on campus.
And as I'm getting a little bit away from the roles and responsibilities of the ASCC president or the student trustee, getting a little more personal, tell us who you admire as a leader.
As a leader, as you mean as a leader on campus?
Yeah, people that you've looked up to as leaders as you've...
Okay, one professor here on campus that I see him as a leader is Professor Frank Dyke. He's a very good English teacher, and he actually helped me a lot when I came to college, because when I took his first English class with him, it was English 15. I always had like a fear of writing because I had the talent. He told me that I have talent for writing, but I had a fear because I didn't know what how to write properly with grammar and commas, and he just taught me, said to just do what you feel is good, and just write. And after that, I felt that I was able to write, and then I learned that by writing I can communicate better, and I learned to put those things together, and I can now communicate better. But I feel that he has inspired me as a leader too, because the way he leads his classes. And then another person that's part of the U.S. history that has inspired me, his story, is Abraham Lincoln, because of his determination to fight for the slaves and sign the Emancipation Proclamation and all the things he did for this country. And he brought it back from really difficult times during the Civil War, and he reunited the country. So that's one of the most historic figures that I feel has been a good leader, because he's learned, he showed the country how to reunite again after all the differences that they had. And then one last person is our current president, Barack Obama, because of all he's done for the country and all the things that he's changed. And because I have had an open communication with that president, because I wrote him a letter talking about how can he maybe make a new department or something for the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, so that all the complaints and everything that happens regarding that can go into that. And he actually surprised me. He replied and he sent me a letter, and which I still hold. And he inspires me to be a leader, and I look up to him because he's our president and because of all the things he has done for this country.
Hector, I thought I heard you make a statement earlier as we began the interview process. That how long have you been a student here on campus now?
Since 2007.
Have you met your goals as a student as you've moved forward?
Yes, I have. Right now, I am actually 2 years from transferring. What has happened is that my condition, muscular dystrophy, has made me go slower throughout the years that I've been here, because I've had to stop coming and I have had to drop. But that was back then. Now my health has stabilized, and I have been stabilized for more than 3 years. That my health has been good, and my doctors still tell me that my progression looks good, and that I'll be healthy for more years. And it was just that slowed me down. But I have reached my goals, and the problem was that I've taken so long because I've started from the bottom. I started with low math class, math 20. I started with a low English class. I had to start the reading classes first in order to get my English class. But I've done it, and I feel pretty proud of myself, because I have made big progress towards transferring. And because I've always believed that it doesn't matter how slow it takes, as long as you get to your goal, like slowly but surely you will get there.
Congratulations.
I believe.
I have a big smile on my face. I know it's radio, you can't see the pictures, but congratulations,
Thank you.
Hector. What would you say are your greatest accomplishments as a student leader?
As a student leader, one of my greatest accomplishments was that I was part of the Go Green Committee, which are implementing a recycling program on campus. That has made me really proud, because I've been part of a program that I know will take flight, and I know will be bigger eventually, and it will bring good revenue for the student government, because of the recycled materials will go to us, and that way our budget will expand and we'll be helping the environment. Another thing that I am proud of is that I'm the Commissioner of Student Financial Aid, and that I made it to student government. That's my biggest accomplishment, that I made it to student government, because before I was very shy and I didn't know how the student government ran, but I was interested in it, but I just feared because it was the college level, and I didn't know how it worked. I thought it was different in high school, but it has a lot of similarities to when I was in student government in high school, but it's just that it's a bigger responsibility, and that it's more important than the actual student government at school. It's at the bigger level, like let's say it's the big leagues. That was the little league, and this is the big leagues. So that has been my biggest accomplishment.
And if you're elected to the student body president, you're in the major leagues, my friend.
Yes.
You've accomplished a lot in your in your years, Hector, and I congratulate you on that. How will you balance your time socially,
Well,
academically, and as your responsibilities as student body president? How will you be able to? It's a lot of work. How are you going to accomplish all of this?
Well, first of all, I have big support from my family, my mom and my parents. I live with my parents because because of my disability. I have to live at home. So, I have a big support system, and I have nursing staff that helps me. But I'll be able to balance it out because I have taken 3 classes before to make the load bigger, and I've noticed that I can balance out the time. And I can do it because on weekends I don't really go out as often, so I can use those days to study and do homework and do assignments. And then during school, well, I just make sure that the classes I get fit into the schedule for me to have office hours and for me to be able to do the student government work. But I feel that, yeah, I can do it. I can balance out the time. It's just organization and putting schedules together.
Time management is very
Time
important
management.
in the capacity of student body president. As I mentioned in my introduction, I've been on the board now almost 20 years, and over those 20-year period, there's been a couple of times where the ASCC president / trustee couldn't fulfill the duties of office because they failed to meet grades.
Yeah.
It's challenging.
Yeah, one of the things that I told myself, if you're gonna run, you're gonna go through all the way. And I know it took me a while to decide to run, but then finally when I realized that I am prepared for it, and I have gone through difficulties, and I have had big workloads. So I already kind of feel that I have that sense of responsibility, that I have to manage time, that I have to do this, because if you can't do this at this level, then that means you're not going to be able to do it at the workforce level, at the career level. So that's why I feel that I should learn to focus now, and that's why I feel I'm very responsible right now, because that way I know that I'll do good when I become a lawyer, which is what I plan to do, and that when I'm in my career, I'll be able to manage my time and get priorities set.
Kind of like we don't make mistakes, we learn lessons.
Yeah.
There you go. Robert, I think, do we need to take a break here?
Sure.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, I'm Casey Petrowski, and every Tuesday night at 8 Pacific, I host The Beatles Show here on WPMD. As different a look at those 4 guys from Liverpool as you've ever heard. It's fresh, entertaining, thoughtful, sometimes irreverent. We'll make you laugh, maybe tell you something you didn't know, and of course, play some of the best music ever made. 1 hour, 4 guys, a zillion stories. Join us for The Beatles Show, Tuesday nights at 8 Pacific on WPMD on the net, where people make a difference.
As a parent, you can't help but look at your child and wonder what the future holds. You may dream about the possibility of your son or daughter becoming a professional athlete or renowned heart surgeon, but while you're dreaming, consider this. The odds of your child will be diagnosed with autism is 1 in 88. Knowing the signs of autism and catching it early can make a world of a difference to your child and you. To learn the signs, visit autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council and WPMD on the net, where people make a difference.
The most dangerous part about diabetic symptoms is their ability to be overlooked. Symptoms like excessive thirst, blurred vision, irritability towards loved ones might be overlooked, but are classic symptoms of type 1 or type 2 diabetes. The staff at Cerritos College Student Health Services believe that you should play an active part in maintaining health and in treatment and prevention of diabetes or any other illness or disease. If you are suffering from these symptoms, we urge you to come in for a free diabetic test. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Student Health Services Center. Call 562-860-2451, extension 2321 to make an appointment. It's never too late to fight diabetes until it's too late to fight diabetes. A message brought to you by WPMD Cerritos College, Norwalk, California.
And we are back on the Falcon Spotlight. Speaking of all these conditions with these public service announcements like diabetes and so forth, we did have a guest speaker who was a cancer survivor, and she provided this one question.
Okay. My name is Dinah Weeby. I'm a radio personality at 99.1 KGGI, and my question to you today, candidates, would be, what would you or what are you doing to currently improve the state of hope on your campus?
And that's the question.
That's an interesting question. Well, I think I recall all the things my mom has taught me since I'm a little kid. And I don't know. I always somehow, I don't know if it's because of my disability, I think that's why, but I always kind of do that automatically. I don't know how I do it, but I always hear people tell me that, oh, you inspire us, or you help us. And I feel that just by me trying my best and just working hard at my goals, that's how I help provide hope on campus to the people that know me, to my fellow students that I have class with. And that's how I feel that I'm winning hope, because I always like to motivate people. When they come up to me and ask me something, or they're down or something, I like to always just tell them, you know what, we only live once, and if you make the best out of it right now, then that's all that counts. And bad things will always happen, and they happen and they go away in no time. So that's how I feel that I am helping bring hope to the campus, because I like to talk to my fellow students and just inspire them and motivate them.
I agree with Hector. I've said for years that I believe that Cerritos College is the gateway to the middle class. The question from the call-in was, what are we doing as a campus to instill hope? We're the region's community college, and in outreach to the community college on an annual basis, I think for the last 5 years running now, the campus has hosted the regional Relay for Life weekend for raising funds for cancer research and the defeat of that deadly disease. I don't have the dates in front of me for that event that's coming up later this summer. Last year, I know the event raised nearly $80,000 towards that goal. We're always involved as a campus. We're always involved in our what can we do as a campus to better the community? What can we do as a campus to aid in the betterment of the education and enrichment of our students? How can we focus on the success of the students? Not what are we doing that's we're not focused on what's good for today, but what's best for tomorrow. And that's always the goal, and towards student success. That's what the administration, the faculty, the staff, and the board of trustees are always focused on. The simplicity of the day-to-day activities. Our trees going to get trimmed, our classrooms going to get cleaned, our bills going to get paid. Yes, it's the long-term decisions of the board of trustees and the leaders of the associated students of Cerritos College. Those decisions that need to be made by the leaders, those long-term decisions, are the ones that literally keep me up at night. Will the generations to come look at the decisions that were made are they the right ones? Are they the best impact? Were they in the benefit of the community, the best interest of the students? And I think we're in the right direction. And I think people like Hector and the other candidates that are running for ASCC president and the student body trustee position, the leadership that we have within the ASCC, they're commendable individuals, the leaders of tomorrow. And we have a strong history of successful, dedicated, hardworking individuals in the ASCC. I'm very proud of my association with them, and as we move towards the commencement, Cerritos College, and coming up in a few weeks, I think it's in May. We have academic excellence awards coming in a couple of weeks, beginning in the award season and culminating with commencement. It's a great thrill to be participatory in those events with as a member of the Board of Trustees, and I look forward to participating in most all of the events that I can possibly can. Should we get on with the questions? Robert, have you got anything from that booth over there?
Sure. So, Hector, I noticed that you are allowed to use Facebook for campaigning. So far, you made like a flyer. Who designed it for you? I know that everybody has like someone that they'd like to give props to. You want to give a shout out to.
Well, I actually designed it.
Oh.
I've tried to be a hands-on candidate because I feel that if you're hands-on on everything you do, then that means you're actually doing it for yourself too, because you're being you're working at it. But I also want to give a shout out to my campaign manager, which is actually Rosa, who introduced me right now, because she's been helping me collect ideas and brainstorm on them. But yeah, that's the person that I want to thank for helping me and brainstorming all the campaign ideas.
And there is a video that surfaced over the weekend by another candidate. What did you think of the possibility of doing something also video related, or?
Well, I don't know about that. I haven't seen it me personally, and I don't know if we're allowed to do that. That's what I don't know. I need to ask them.
Well, I guess as a offshoot of the question that Robert asked, what other strategies have you got for campaigning to get your message to the students to vote for you?
Well, first through the publicity through posters and flyers, but also through talking to students, talking to them and asking them what do they think about our campus? Like, are we helping them? And then tell them the ideas that I have, and mostly outreach to them, outreach to the students. Make sure I am the kind of person that I like to go up to people and say hi and talk to them and motivate them and just tell them about my campaign and tell them what I'm doing, because I feel that in order to be a good leader, you also need to reach out to the people. You need to reach out to the students on campus. You need to reach out to your constituents, because that's the most important thing, the one-on-one connection between your constituents and the people that are going to vote for you.
Tell us about you mentioned you're the commissioner of financial aid on campus. Have you held any other positions within the ASCC government here on campus over the years, or have you held any other community outside activities, other community posts, affiliations, organizations, experience in leadership?
Recently, it's just been the student government. Mm-hmm. I started back in September of 2013. I was a senator, and then I just didn't like the dynamic of the Senate. So I went to the cabinet, and right there, I found that I liked how the cabinet ran. But as a leader, throughout my life, I've had different roles. And one of them, when I was 11 years old, there's an association called the Muscular Dystrophy Association, which looks for a cure for neuromuscular diseases, for actually a type of disease that I have, this muscular dystrophy that I have. And when I was 11 years old, they elected me their Latino Goodwill Ambassador of the LA area. So my role was publicity and talking to sponsors and going to events, at telethons. That was one of my leadership roles too. And then when I was in student government during high school, I was actually the student board representative. So I would be the student that would relay a report to the board members at the school board with the Bellflower Unified School District, because I graduated from Bellflower High School. And I was in charge of that. But also that role I had, I was also in charge of the publicity on campus, how well the message was conveyed to the students of the activities that were going on. And another role that I've had before, I'm trying to recall, but that's about all that I recall right now.
Okay. In the last year, at the Board of Trustee meetings, the students have raised issue with the food court, the food vendors, the recycling program. They brought forward a resolution proposal for technology fee assessed on students. Trying to think, were there any others? But can you think of any other issues or any other items that the students have brought to the Board of Trustees that were of a concern, major concern to the students? And are there any issues that you see in the immediate future that you would like to see as a campaign for the support of the ASCC, that the ASCC would support to bring forward to the Board of Trustees?
Well, one of them right now that just is being brought up by the Social Equality Club or organization is that they're trying to get more sections for the classes. But I see that it's great that they want to get that. And yeah, we do need that as students, more sections. Because
in summer school.
In summer school. Because for the anatomy courses, there's very little sections. And a lot of students are waiting and wasting time waiting for those sections. But I see the perspective of both the administrators and the students. I see the perspective that the college has gone through a tough economic time. Our president, Dr. Linda Lacey, said they have right now a $5 million reserve, but that reserve is not even enough for a salary of 1 month for all the employees on campus, because the salaries for all the employees are $7 million. But what I think is that, yeah, we do have the money promised from the state, but like it is stated before, it doesn't come in right away when the state says it. It just tells us, oh, I owe you and we're going to give you this eventually. And then I feel that if we add more sections, we have to be careful that it's not all just part-time teachers, because if it's all part-time professors, they're not going to have office hours because they are very limited to office hours. And they're not going to be able to help the students more. So it's going to be more it's going to be on their own. The students are going to be responsible for being successful in those classes. So I think that it needs to be done, but it needs to be done responsibly and in a proper way, because one problem can be fixed, but then you're going to create a big problem over here somewhere else. So what I think is just that it's just balancing the budget and I feel that try to treat the administrators with a little bit more respect, because the few meetings that I've had before that I've heard, I hear they ask questions in a tone that I feel it's not too respectful for a college president. And
so you understand that there's two sides to every story.
I understand there's two sides, but I just mean that both sides can win, because if we have good communication with the administrators and the students, then the college can thrive together. Because, as I said earlier, we need the administrators and the administrators need us. So it's a partnership. And if we both have open channels of communication, well, we can find middle ground where both sides are happy, where the administrators have their understanding of their side met about the budget and the money and the fiscal budget stuff, and then the students have their need of the sections and the things that need to be done so that they can also be successful.
Hector, have you given any thought to a solution to the problem of the escalating prices of textbooks, and a solution to a collaborative solution with ASCC and the bookstore and those rising costs of textbooks?
Well, that one's actually a pretty tough one. I would
Yeah,
need
it
to.
is.
I would need to. First,
And I'm sorry, that's a pretty hardball
Yeah.
question.
I would need to research that very well, get both sides of the story, and see what can be done to stop the prices from rising, or bring them down a little bit and keep them there and try not to raise them so high. But it's a subject that I haven't really investigated that well, because it
Well,
just
my recommendation
goes
would be that the ASCC, whoever wins the office of president, appoint a blue ribbon commission of
yeah.
the ASCC government, its Senate, its body, however, and work with the administrators to develop collaboratively
Yeah.
alternatives and brainstorm what additional options may be that the college isn't already investigating and
Yeah.
working with the bookstore. I know the bookstore already has the rent book,
Yeah, they have that.
the buy
program.
book, rental book,
They also have
books in the library,
online stuff.
and the Kaleidoscope program. But you can see what other alternatives and brainstorm together with them.
Yeah, if I'm
and see
putting the
what alternatives there might be to alleviate some of the problems of those escalating prices.
if I'm put in the office and I have the privilege of becoming the president, the ACC president, I will for sure get another committee, or like Bob Archer just said, and make a group that works along with the administrators in order to find a solution for the book issue.
Now, Hector, I was wondering, I know that for a while, the candidates were like secretive with certain details, like for their campaign, but I was wondering, is there any candidate that, are you considering running as a slate with a student trustee candidate? And the other question is, if for any reason, let's take, for example, if like you or your VP have an issue amongst each other, if you become president, how would you handle it?
Okay, well, for the first question, running as a slate, after the orientation we had last week for the trustee and the president, they kind of told us that if we run as a slate, we're gonna have a lesser chance of having publicity, because that poster that we make for the candidates, whichever posters we make, it has to have the slate. So I decided that I'll just keep it, me and the vice president, and let not run as slate, because I feel that it'll complicate things a little bit more. But if I win, and whoever wins trustee, I will work with them no matter who is the person that wins for trustee.
Well, speaking of that, who is your vice presidential candidate?
My vice president, his name is Charlie Zuniga.
Tell us about him.
He is right now, he's a senator in the ACC Senate. He's a minority leader, which is he's in charge of the freshman class. And he actually went to the same high school that I went to. And he's a very
Buffalo.
Buffalo High School. He's a very good student. He does really good in his classes. And he is a dedicated member of the ACC as well. He previously, in the awards banquet of the fall, he won, I think, a silver Falcon And he also won a special award that was given only to I don't remember the category, but he was given a very special award for all his
In the
hard
beginning,
work
or
and dedication. The awards banquet, I don't remember what it was.
was it those first awards?
Yeah, the first awards.
Possibly the Bob Epple Scholarship.
Yeah, I think that's what he got. But yeah, he's a very dedicated student. That's why I chose him as my vice president. Now, to get to the other question that you asked me about how would I resolve issues. Well, honestly, we just had an issue about the posters, but we managed to go through that conflict swiftly, and we just came to an agreement that, well, if it's something that's benefiting both of us, we're gonna try to make it work. And that's just what it is. I like to hear his side, and then I hear my side, and then we just try to find that middle ground between the both of us. That's how I would deal with a conflict.
What advantage would you say you have over your opponents?
Well, for me personally, I think it's what I said earlier. The outreach that I will go personally. I'm the type of person that I like the one-on-one connection with my constituents. I can do that, and I feel that I have that advantage over them because I'm very open to that, and I like to just communicate with people.
And we're down to our final 5 minutes, so I would like our trustee to take over and see what else he would like to add.
Okay.
Well, let's ask Hector. Let's project out to the future, Hector.
Okay.
It's election day. You've won the election.
Well,
You've served a year as ASCC president. You've received your AA degree, and you're years into the future. You're an attorney. As you've reached your career, your plateau.
okay.
What do you think your legacy will be here at Cerritos College?
Well, my legacy at Cerritos College, I hope that it will be that I was a good student leader. I helped and implement the programs that are implemented right now. The recycling program was successful. That I led with example, and that I helped that the future generations that came to Cerritos College after mine. That I was a good leader, and I helped solve the issues that were facing my time. And that's why I see my legacy as a good leader that was helping everybody and was always wanting to compromise, to reach the middle ground for both sides.
Congratulations. Yeah. It's been an interesting hour. Hector, I had not had the pleasure of being introduced to you before, and if we had, I apologize for not remembering. Rosie, right?
Yes.
Yes, congratulations, and thank you for your introduction of Hector. Robert, I appreciate the opportunity of sitting in on your show this morning, and I look forward to being participatory in the future if the other candidates want to take this opportunity to be on your show, and I will make time on my calendar to be here as well.
Thank you very much. And I have one final thing to add, Hector, because I noticed that it was an issue that people have asked before. What would you do for the court branch? Because people have said that they're kind of a weak branch, I've heard.
Well, I would try to look over all the rules that they have and try to not give them more power, because it has to be balanced out. We are framed after the United States government, and we need to balance out the powers. But I would need to look into that. Right now, honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I would need to look into it.
What is your opinion right now of the court?
The same as most students. It is kind of weak because they only, well, I don't think they're that weak because they regulate the elections. But what may be happening is that since the elections only happen once, you have the Senate elections, You have the homecoming elections, then you have the student trustee and student president election. So that's why they're being portrayed as, they're being seen as weak because they don't have that many elections. But maybe we can just give them another responsibility too, in the student government beyond them checking the rules and all that, and that can maybe give them a little bit more power. But I'm also concerned that too much power is not good as well, because you have to remember there's checks and balances in the government, just like in the United States government. There has to be checks and balances.
Hector, you're a very astute young man. I compliment you on your achievements and your tenacity and your willingness to serve.
Yeah,
You're
thank
a
you.
fine young man.
It was a pleasure being here and meeting you for the first time too. It was great meeting you. And then Robert, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I just want to shout out to my two sisters, Maria Sanchez and my sister Paola Arellano, because they're the ones that have given me endorsements this weekend. And I haven't really had the time to go to the clubs, which is what I'm going to work on this week.
Okay. Thank you very much, and I look forward to continuing this campaign time.
Thank you, Robert.